Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with a bit of a different video today. Today I'm going to talk about the importance of learning a foreign language before you come to live in a country like Spain, or even before you come and visit a country like Spain. I think it's important to learn a little bit or a lot of the local language. So that is what we're going to talk about today. Now, a lot of people have asked me over the last few years how I learned Spanish, what my particular language learning journey was, and I'm going to be honest, it wasn't easy. And today I'll go through the steps that I used to learn the Spanish language, because for me, it was very, very important to learn the language before I decided to come and live in this country. I started learning Spanish around 25 years ago, and obviously back then we didn't have the same resources available that we have today. For example, the internet. So in theory, with all of the resources that we have around nowadays, it should be easy to learn a second language, right? Well, in my personal opinion, it's still not easy to learn a foreign language, even though we have all of these resources available, because you need to have structured learning. It's one thing to have thousands of videos on YouTube. It's another thing to have access to thousands of newspapers in the Spanish language, but it's another thing to structure your learning process. Now, learning Spanish before you come to Spain is not only going to help you integrate faster in this country, but it's also going to make you more accepted by the locals. Because when people see that you do have skills in the Spanish language, they're going to open up more to you. In most cases, they're going to be friendlier. And a lot of the times, they're going to treat you like you're not just another tourist or giddy, as locals tend to call foreigners like me in this country. So you'll integrate faster, people will be more friendly towards you, and things will open up here in Spain that wouldn't have opened up for you if you didn't speak the language, if that makes sense. And there are lots of other advantages when it comes to learning a second language like Spanish, not only when it comes to integration and the things that I mentioned before, because learning a second language like Spanish boosts brain power, it will improve your memory, and it will also improve your first language because you'll understand how your first language works. And let's be honest, a lot of us still make mistakes in our first language. However, as I said before, it's not easy to learn a second language, especially the older you are. And let's be honest, there are thousands and thousands of methods out there, so how do you know which method is right for you? Some people will tell you that you can learn a language in less than a month. Some people will tell you that if you learn a certain amount of words, you'll be able to speak the language, but in my personal experience, that is not the case. There are no shortcuts, even though a lot of people would like to tell you that there are. And in my experience, learning the Spanish language, the three main keys for me were learning the grammar, building my vocabulary, and immersing myself as much as possible in the Spanish culture and language. And another thing that I found very useful back in the day was learning Spanish with authentic material. For example, newspapers, listening to the radio, and things like that. Back then, I was living in Australia, and it was extremely hard to get my hands on this type of material. But nowadays, fortunately, that has changed, and things are a whole lot easier these days because of, you guessed it, the internet. Now, I've teamed up with Busuu to make this video, and in my opinion, Busuu is one of the best, if not the best, places on the internet to learn a foreign language. The website's fantastic, the app's fantastic, and it will definitely help you learn a second language like Spanish. And I like Busuu for a number of reasons. For example, the language learning process is structured, and they have small, achievable, interactive lessons. And this is important when it comes to keeping the learner motivated, because as we know, motivation can be a big problem when you're learning a second language. It was for me, and I'm sure that it has been for you if you've ever tried to learn a foreign language. And another thing I like about Busuu is the interaction that you can have there. They have a fantastic interactive community, and you can also have live lessons on Busuu with native teachers so that you can immerse yourself in the language. And last but not least, when it comes to learning Spanish, they also have fantastic, authentic material from the newspaper El País. And this is something that I definitely wish I had access to when I started my Spanish language learning journey 25 years ago. I had to buy Spanish newspapers and try to work out the key vocabulary for myself, but on Busuu, all of that is done for you. So check out Busuu for yourself using the links below. You can sign up and start using Busuu for free, and also try out a Busuu premium free trial for 7 days. So click those links below. Now, once you've started your Spanish language learning journey, you might want to formalize it and sit one of the official exams. For example, the DELE exam or DELE exam. And one of the main advantages of doing these official exams is that you can move your way up through those official levels, starting at A1 and working your way all the way up to C2 if that is your objective. And if you're planning on living in Spain long term, you might want to apply for Spanish citizenship, and one of the criteria for getting citizenship in this country is that you need to have an official A2 Spanish level. So another incentive to learn the language. So I'll wrap the video up here, and basically, in my opinion, it doesn't matter if you're planning to live in Spain or whether you're coming to spend a few months here or maybe a couple of weeks here, it's always a good idea to learn the local language. And as I said, with all of the resources available nowadays, there's no excuse. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Tell us where you are at with your Spanish language journey, whether your level's A1, A2, B1, B2, C1 or C2. Tell us where you are at. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.